DTZ Entertainment Presents Coffee Bar Stories, a talk show adjacent comedy podcast with your three hosts, Dad, Son, and Bubba. Live from the coffee bar, it's your DTZ News.
Welcome back to the DTZ News. I'm your host, Son, and in today's episode, we're going to try to repair what we were trying to do with the contest. The Facebook post that we posted wasn't really all that clear, and kind of an outside looking in situation on it. It doesn't really clarify what DTZ is to people who didn't know, and what the contest even really is for everybody else. So we did, for the most part, in the 8th episode, and It's News, explain what the contest is. You send us your funniest stories that involve marijuana, so your funniest pot stories, and you send it to our email, or you can type them in on our website. On that front page there's a place you can send in your skit ideas or skits. You can also type in your pot stories and send it there. That all goes to our email. Or you can send it to us on Messenger. All you gotta do though is just send in your funniest pot story, and the winner will be chosen by us when the contest ends, and we will send you a gift card from Amazon to your email. And we will be doing it on the website itself. The gift card will be purchased as a gift towards to you, and it'll go straight to whoever wins. Alright, and with that, that'll be the DTZ News.
Time now for 2 dad jokes. Plus 1. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. What do you get from a pampered cow? Spoiled milk. What do you call two monkeys that share an Amazon account? Primates. Alright, now we're here in the coffee bar discussions part, and I'm going to start with kicking it off. And I thought I'd talk about, people how they react to neighbors and things they can go through to deal or not really deal with them. I ain't gonna say deal with them, that's not fair. We'll say try to either coexist or get along with. And I have had more than my share of issues with neighbors through the years, I'll say that. As far as I've lived in apartments, sleeping rooms, houses, obviously, quite a few different style of, rentals and whatnot, like apartments where there's indoor, maybe 25 apartments in the building type deal, down to where it's outside and almost like a motel style.
I was gonna say,
but it
like
is apartments, not motels and stuff. And neighbors, there's something else sometimes, and I feel bad for the ones that own homes and they got neighbors that don't act right or want to make sure that the neighbor knows they're there all the time, is what I'll say. Yelling, doing oddball stuff. I feel bad for people like that and stuff. Have you guys remembered any of the neighbors we've had through the years that might be odd to our listeners and stuff?
Definitely.
What was some, like, the oddities to them?
Well, one in particular that I didn't quite like was years back. There was one that had a knack for stealing animals.
Oh yeah, I remember
yes.
this one. I don't even remember this because I don't remember the person's name either.
That was the alleys. Yep. I remember that they did all their nabbing by walking down alleys, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember our cats, especially my cat Daisy, got catnapped by this person.
See, that's what I thought was strange, and I obviously wasn't abusing them because animal control and all them, I know have been there many times because they did get a couple animals away from her that weren't hers. I do know that's happened.
Yeah.
But
And I can attest.
but you can't see the worst part about it though. You can't call her the crazy cat lady because it wasn't just cats; it was dogs.
Any animal that was off a leash
Just-
unattended
yeah,
for.
Yeah, that she could, she is
Equal
justified that wasn't being cared to properly.
an equal
that-
opportunist animal napper.
No, well, she basically considers herself morally superior to you, and by you not adhering, even if you don't know what the hell her idea of pet care is,
Mm-hmm.
you're not adhering to her code of pet caring. She's taking it.
Yeah, I had like one run-in with her. I had a beautiful, beautiful husky.
Yeah.
It was a great dog. I loved her. Took her. I was taking her for a walk. Young kid. Well, I walked past this lady, and she says, "You don't deserve that dog."
Huh.
I was just a kid. I didn't know what she meant.
Yeah.
I just ignored her. But thinking back to it, I'm like, what a cunt.
Yeah. And look at you on an American-based podcast throwing around such an Australian word. But I do agree. No, for no reason, she'd just go around telling people that, no, you're too ungrateful to have this animal. Because, ooh,
She
she was a piece of work.
Well, because of things back in the day and all that, she was very. She see me, she would get away. If I like walking down the alley, because like with Dexter, walking him and stuff down the alley, how he could walk next to me and have him on a leash and stuff.
Yeah.
Now she never, like if she was in the alley, she got out of it and stuff. She never ever spoke to me or questioned me ever about anything. I did go and get one of your mom's cats back, which Mickey.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she had it, and Mickey had. It was distinguishing, and
Mickey was a milk cow cat.
yeah, I kind of how I was back then and things and whatnot. So she got the point, and the cat was released and everything. So I didn't have to deal with her, but her kookiness just from Shar, other people tell me, hey, I just seen her down the alley. I'm like, what? Okay,
Yeah,
because if I step out, you would she'd get out of either run into her house, or if she's somewhat in the alley down, she would head back and get into her.
And for the listeners wondering what would think something like not caring for properly, my cat Mickey was an outside cat, so we let him outside,
Yeah, I know.
and that's why she nabbed him, because he was outside.
She was something else. How about you, son? You remember?
I don't remember any of our neighbors from previous years. All I can remember is more of a recent.
What about the downstairs neighbor that we had with? Now they didn't really bother us. They were okay people. Well, at least the lady is.
Yeah.
But the boyfriend at the time, no,
We'll
not
just
so,
leave-
not, not so,
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, not so much. You didn't really know, but the thing is, talking about not being a good neighbor. I get home from work. I think I was on 10-hour days or something like that. I get home from work and everybody's like, "Man, you missed this and that." And there's like the cops everywhere.
Oh yeah, constantly, always.
No, and they came and got the bottom neighbor and took him off to jail.
Yeah.
Jail, no.
I was
what-
like,
he-
oh,
he
I
went to
also
prison.
something about the bottom
It
neighbors.
was, it was, yeah, she was in denial and
Mhm.
everything. I was like, nah, this isn't made up. This isn't, He didn't call 1-900
No.
number.
The one thing I
and
do remember about
talk
them
to
as
us.
well, though, is that somehow, even though we lived above them, they still found a way to make it sound like they were louder than us, and they had the sound coming from above us, even though it wasn't the people above us.
Yeah.
Now, we did have, at one point, a family that lived above us that was rather loud, but that didn't last too long. I think we were
Yeah.
able to talk with them, and they fixed that.
Well, yeah, and they moved out quickly.
Yeah.
They were looking to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, also in the neighborhood wasn't so good because they decided to go and the one thing, folks, don't ever do this. Don't drag furniture home from the alleys.
No,
don't
don't
do
do
that, please.
Especially if you live in a
I mean, if you watch
complex.
them just set it out and the house look like it's a clean house and they don't look like it's just torn to hell. It's just maybe they upgraded. Oh,
Talk to
maybe,
the owners and
but
maybe.
don't take the ones that you don't know about, because folks, our neighbors did that and infested a building in record time.
Oh,
Talking
it
about
was horrible.
ignoring it. I don't know how they ignored it that long for it to get that bad.
Yeah.
It was terrible, absolutely terrible.
We spent a couple $1,000 there. You know, the few months that we had to put up with the real bad parts of it before we moved out.
Yeah.
To probably about that, a little over $1,000, maybe $2,000 in bug killer and bombs and stuff, just to keep our living space clean enough that you didn't have the bugs on us, and sprayed daily.
I was
The
like a
halls,
junior, going to be a senior in high school at this time. I remember I was constantly having to go to like the park for a couple hours or something because it was nice
Yep.
out and it was the only place we could really go to.
Yeah, because
And
you
then
can't be in there.
And then the one time I completely forgot and got home, unlocked the door, walked in. I'm like, why is it so hazy in here? It smelled like death. And then immediately walk out to an angry dad. The fuck you doing in there? We were supposed to pick you up. I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you were there. Right as basically, I don't know if you saw me walk in or whatnot, but by the time I was walking out of that door, he was right there, and I'm glad, because if I were to have fallen or collapsed in there, I don't know if I would have been found. So
No.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
glad
was-
to have
what the hell
immediately
you-
opened the door
Well,
and saw him.
Yeah, because we were expecting everybody. You were all going together, to eat and everything like that too. Why it's going off? Because it's like 3 hours.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Something like
Something like
that.
that. Yeah, I remember that. I was supposed to walk with them, is what was supposed to happen. One of the friends I was supposed to walk with, but I never could have found her or something like that. And in the school, I wasn't able to find her, so I ended up walking with my other friends. And I think I got sidetracked and ended up just making it home.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I think I was walking with Ranger, our last guest, actually, because he lived on the block
Okay.
next to us, and I was following him home.
So how about you, Dad? You got any neighbors? You remember?
Oh, when I was a kid, we had these neighbors. I think I was more the terror than they were actually rough on us. They were called the Rattlers, which I can talk about them. They're long past. Oh my God, they. What I could remember of them, they had already been retired from. They owned a men's store called. Our men's clothing store called Rattlers, and it was in our downtown where we live and stuff. And he'd already, I don't know if it was closed down or if he just sold it to somebody and retired or what, but they'd be gone every summer to Hawaii and stuff like that. But they were just, if you, like my ball would go in their front yard, they would have, if they were home, they have a meltdown if you went over there to get it and stuff. They were really just overbearing about things and stuff.
I remember another one
Yeah.
now because you said something like that.
Yeah, the Travelers weren't he was okay. It was his wife that was like grandma for you guys. She says she kind of like bipolar, but back then I didn't really understand what that meant.
Yeah.
I do nowadays, but I didn't really. So, and it probably, from what I can remember, it might be right, because I don't, being that young, my memory's probably not right. It's not like putting in a videotape or whatever and watching it
I get that
on
all too
or
well.
YouTube
I get that all
thing
too
or
well.
something. I'm sorry, that's a little.
But no, yeah. I felt that. I felt more closer to that VHS tape analogy than the YouTube one, sadly. But
I wish I could press a rewind button on my head. Just
yeah, that would help out a lot.
What would help out for me more is being able to get it from here onto a screen so everybody else can see it
Me too. I know what you mean.
from there, but that's not how.
shit. I'd use it on the daily. It's just like,
but-
oh shit, where'd I put my keys?
Yeah. And probably for now, and what we'll say the elephant in the room one for neighbors is the one we have nowadays. That's next door that we've had to drag to court, and I found out that by not answering a door when the sheriff's knocking on it is not against the law. And boy, if you ever want to avoid, I guess, a summons because you're being served with it's not a restraining order, it's a
Order of protection.
yeah, order of protection, no contact. So if you want to avoid that, folks, just don't answer the door, I guess, because that's how that happened.
Yeah.
We've been harassed by it
Yep.
for about a year now. Started off where your guys' mom was just being nice, and
Yeah.
the person's a drunk and just started acting a fool, accusing us of things that aren't true, I say making up things. But the
It's heavy
person
slander.
the person just, it's like they're trying to live a fantasy life by, like, they know it all. And it's one thing to think you know everything about somebody by observing and filling in the blanks with your own theories and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother, though, to be screaming at 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. and 2 a.m. out in the neighbors and everything about them, and calling them names, calling them, sad thing is being called racist names.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing is, the neighbors screams at us calls us racist names and stuff, and it's real weird that, it started out where, your mom showed concern and the person flipped out. Then it turned into where what we do, put little lights on our driveway, close to our driveway,
Yeah.
so we can see me and your brother when we drive the car at night pulling in and out of the driveway. Next thing I know, our neighbor on the other side of us is telling us that the drunk neighbor is coming out, and when we're not around, grabbing our lights, stealing them. So I'm like, okay, that's enough. We call the police. Police tell us, do this, do that, do the other. So we do all this stuff. We get a camera. Then we get the property surveyed to show, because we don't have a fence between us for whatever reason. Before we bought the house, they just kind of let things be what it is. So we get a survey done, and next thing I know, we got the signs up, and of course the person has been intruding on our property, claiming it's theirs when it
Yeah.
wasn't. They trespassed, they stole, they damaged it, they dug holes on it. So me being the way I can get, I removed something they put on my property. I did return it though.
Yeah.
But-
to be fair, you did.
Yeah.
I took it off my property, filled in the back, filled the hole in, put up the fence. It's a fence that's there's spikes you drive in. It's almost like cattle fence. They're steel rods, but we got the garden style fence you can put up, which is legal because it's not permanent. So we didn't
Like
have to get a
chicken wire?
permit, so we can get that done right away. Because from the survey, our property, it's been on our line for a while.
Mm-hmm.
On our property line, the thing's been the drunks constantly doing things in our property when we told them no. And the problem with it is the thing escalates all the time. You
Yes.
prove it wrong, then all of a sudden, besides being racist towards us, then they turn it into victimhood and stuff. And
Oh yeah, that's the thing that really annoys me about it. It's like, okay, so you're gonna sit there and just tirade. You're gonna spread bullshit.
You go on your tirades, slander us, harass us, go out of your way to be exclusively drunk at odd hours at the night. And
Yeah.
realistically, I don't understand how she hasn't gotten caught at this point.
Honestly,
how that thing hasn't been caught. I know it's gotten to the point where this person is claimed that all the neighbors around us, hate our family, and we've had the neighbor on the other side of the problem neighbor come over, and the sad part, they waited to that neighbor that's bothering us left, and come over and asked us if we had problems, and then we talked with them, and the next thing we know, we're finding out this has gotten so bad for the neighbor on their side of us that the person's peeked in their windows, left a 6 or 7 page letter in their mailbox, taped to one of their pieces of mail. So the person walked in, took mail out of their mailbox, taped this
federal
letter
offense.
to it.
that is an offense.
Yeah, it's not good. And put it in there and stuff. And had this incoherent ramblings in it. But it did touch on, like, you can tell the person's been looking in their windows, saying this and that about reading to the kids this, or what, weird things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. And the person's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be a cop caller all the time and whatnot. And we're like, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it keeps escalating. The person's made threats against us, threatened to have people do things to us.
The weirdest thing, this person, I've worked with them only for a short time. And then here I am years later, new job. And every time I go to this new job, I take a little black backpack for my lunch.
Yeah.
And then I come home and I forget who told me, but I hear
Probably
that
Ma.
she thought I was selling drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, she thinks
Where
all
would
of
I-
us are.
No. She said, no. It's what happened is, they wanted to know why you were leaving at, I guess, what do you leave at 7 or 8 in the morning?
Yeah.
And why you were gone for like 8 hours and then coming home with your backpack on. You leave with a backpack and you come home with a backpack. Why are you gone for 8 hours with a backpack?
Yeah. Like,
You basically.
it's called a job, stupid.
The
Well,
person's
job,
base.
school. There's
Yeah.
a multitude of different reasons. You're in an office, workplace.
Well,
a
no. I
million
mean,
different reasons you could use a backpack.
You're explaining a normal 8-hour workday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, somebody, it'd be in their story. Why you leaving on every 15 minutes, on the 15 minutes, going and being gone 5 minutes and back, going and being, that. Okay, I can get that. When why are you caring?
What are you
Besides
think
being-
I'm out here big
besides
chefing drugs,
being-
freaking 8 hours a day. Like, what the hell?
Well,
Why are you clocking us?
from what this person's must have a lot of what I'll call kook time on their hands, because holy cow, the person's doing it to both houses. They're doing it
Holy
on both
shit.
sides. They're doing it to our other neighbor that's on the corner here on the other side of the kooky neighbor and us and stuff. And the
It's
neighbors
wild.
across the street from us, they got some stories too about the kook,
I guess we
out
have to
there
invite them all to a
3,
barbecue.
4 in the morning, putting gas on their trees.
Treating our trees with gasoline and cow manure.
treating their
Um,
their trees.
I looked
with-
it up.
with
It
gasoline.
says diesel, but it is against the EPA to use diesel in ground since it'll seep into the groundwater. I'm surprised when the firemen came that they didn't have a whole environmental fiasco on their hands. I guess what she did wasn't enough to cause, a whole fiasco, but
it used
she was using gasoline. Yeah, which is, I
It was
guess,
using
I
gasoline.
feel like that's the same thing as diesel. I know they're two separate things. But they're still fuel.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's not something you should be putting in the ground, especially when you're in a neighborhood that has groundwater and a whole reservoir.
Yeah.
Well, the problem also is, besides doing this kooky crap like that, mixing gasoline and fertilizer, cow manure is never a good idea, I would think. But hey, that's
God
not
forbid a
me.
lit match gets struck.
But it's the threats all the time and calling us
Constantly.
names all the time. It gets old. I'm
It's
tired of
very
it.
stalker.
And exactly, we have made the kooks so mad by ignoring, not responding. See, like your mother, she's got the kook blocked, so that the text
Yeah,
messages
has
that
her number
are sent
blocked.
are just where it's like they're insane, threatening, and
not of a sober mind.
and if we didn't check a lot of this, there's a couple times we probably could have got ourselves hurt and didn't know it. Just by we avoided something by not going by or walking out or whatever at a certain time. We got lucky with ourselves.
Yeah.
We can also put it like this, of her basically just getting mad for no reason. We have, where our driveway is, a little bit of her tree causes some shade over our driveway. So, in her words exact, since my tree gives them shade, I'm going to cut this limb off. They don't deserve it. Lady, all you did was help us out so we don't have to, clean up
Sweep
our...
up more of your tree
we don't have to
crap.
clean up our driveway.
Yeah, so we ain't got to deal with its kooky shit. That's this. It's gotten to a point where it's drunken. Woe is me. Woe is me. I'm the victim. Anger. I'll show them. I'm gonna go and burn my house down. I'll show them.
I mean, that's going to show the police you're an arsonist.
They don't. Oh, they don't like farm animals. I'll show them. Getting buffalo and cow or horses in the back. Next thing you know, the city's there. You got, the person, so kooky they will demise themselves and keep fueling it with alcohol. I've gotten to the point where I know their mind's pretty much mushing, and they don't remember half the things they've started, and like where we said, if you want to get away with not being served, just don't answer the door. That's the problem. Is the kook doesn't know why they're knocking, but it has a suspicion that it did something. They just don't know what. That's why they won't answer the door, and they figure if it's bad enough, they'll kick in the door and come and take them.
Which they probably should have gotten them at this point, but it's, I guess,
I mean,
a whole
that's
toss-up.
that you're talking civil rights and everything with that. You don't want to, because we're being mistreated doesn't mean they should get mistreated by the law
guess.
either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we feel slighted and we feel that the law was kind of unfair to us, but within reason. I'm not gonna front them for anything, and we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
So that's what we are gonna do, seeing that by law we're not gonna be protected any longer.
Yeah.
So
I'd
you
like to
know.
go back to that burning house analogy. If they were to like burn down their own house, though, they would quite literally when they get arrested for the arson. But they made me do it. And then when they get hit with the flags of
they would-
fraud,
they would
insurance
admit-
fraud. No, I didn't commit insurance fraud. They're the ones who
no,
did it for me.
yeah. See, the kook would admit what they did by
They did it.
by victimhood.
Mm-hmm.
They made me do that.
Exactly.
I had to burn my house down because, and God only knows what the reasoning of the kooky.
Whatever they could concoct. At that
Yeah, I mean, it
point.
depends on what the situation is and why it went there.
Yeah.
Because, and the sad thing is, at this point, is not that we're escalating anything. Not like we're pushing the neighbors. Not like we're confronting the neighbor or anything. We've done nothing to the neighbor in any retaliation whatsoever besides by law. We went to the courthouse. We filed the paperwork. We did everything we were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to serve, went on for 2 court dates, couldn't get to serving. we can't really waste the county money, that's unfair to them to be tied up over this.
Yeah.
So it's canceled the order of protection at that point, trying to be served, to where now we got to put up with, being out there and being screamed at. So now what we will do is just go along with the flow of things.
Basically. Keep on with our whole ignoring everything and see
exactly
what that does to them.
Because ignoring them is pissing them off.
That
so
and
hard.
when the police show up on the person, keeps berating the police. At a point, the police are going to get tired of it because they've taken some extreme.
That
I want to say,
911 operator.
I do want to say to the police of our town that they are really, really good police because they are so patient. They have received so much verbal abuse from this person. It is not funny. It's
ridiculous.
Horribly abused in that they
just all you
are
have to do is
extremely
picture them inside their
professional.
house screaming out their window towards the cops while they're trying to understand the situation at hand. And she's not telling them they're not telling them what's going on. What they're screaming at them about is everything else. That's how so them to just be able to take that and still, not freak out on them. They're commendable for
That's
that.
the one thing that extremely pisses me off about the neighbor is that the disrespect for the police when they're there being extremely polite, asking them. It's not like they're there screaming at the neighbor, what are you doing to them?
Exactly.
They're not there. They're there
They're
to
fair on
mediate,
even sides.
but they can't even get mediated. They get blasted by the person making accusations and everything. They're untrue. You can tell in a drunken stupor.
And the worst part is that they do the same thing even if they were the ones that called the police.
Well, they did call him and then called him back and berated the 911 operator. You know what? I think that one maybe episode 10 for the coffee bar discussions. No. You know what I may do that one for? Was that a good idea? I'm going to read the police report, which is obtained legally, which I can do legally. It's public knowledge offered for public, is how they treated the 911 and the police in that issue that we had.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's the 911 operator. I feel so bad for them. They were
deserve a
mistreated
raise.
from whoever whatever operator was it pushed that button.
They should have clocked out.
Yeah.
They should have just
deserve a
they should've
raise.
hung up.
I hope they got at least a little bonus or maybe the taking the dinner that night because
I understand that police officers and operators, they're not allowed to hang up on a 911 call until they know it's fake. But they should have at that point.
no.
They should have taken a break that day.
Actually, no. What it was is that they were being berated and they had to threaten the person to be arrested for misuse of the 911 system for them to stop what they're doing because they kept having to answer obviously and 911 calls coming in.
Yeah.
But same one person slamming and doing what they're doing. I'll read it. We'll do in episode 10, the next episode for coffee bars or not coffee bar discussion for my was that a good idea? I'll read the transcript of that and stuff because I don't have it right now. I left it over at my buddy's house. Him and his wife read it and they were howling. So I will read that and we'll omit obviously things that would get us in trouble, but you'll get the idea. For names we'll put in neighbor and shit like that.
Yeah.
So so if you got anything like a neighbor like we got, I feel bad for you.
Just know that we're on your side.
Yeah, just know we know, and
We know how it feels, and you don't deserve it.
yeah, and I don't have no advice, is good advice or
Ignoring them seems to
any
work.
advice at all, really, because what we've tried hasn't worked. So all I
Ignoring-
can say is good luck, and yeah.
I want to
ignore it.
keep saying ignoring because it's like a double-edged sword. Because it'll work for you, but it also if it happens in our case like it does ours, I should say actually, it might be we're working in one hand, but we're also we have to experience something tenfold from them.
Exactly.
So your mileage may vary.
Isn't it? So, okay. All right, Son and Bubba. We're going to call Coffee Bar Discussions done. Let them listen to some real commercials and get paid.
Join us Monday nights on the Rilla Radio Show, putting independent music in the listeners' ears with DJ CO1 and DJ Craig Allen. It's where the hits just keep coming.
Hey everyone, I'm Bubba, the newest host of Coffee Bar Stories. Dad, Son, and I are excited to bring in Season 2 to y'all. Expect some new stories, guests, and several other new goodies for everyone. So keep your eyes out for Coffee Bar Stories Season 2 coming this November.
Coffee Bar Stories is a DTZ Entertainment presentation. Now, was that a good idea? In a harebrained scheme, a Florida woman thought she could game a court-ordered urinalysis test with a pill container filled with soda and tap water, according to court records. As a result of guilty pleas last month to a pair of felony charges, Miss Hunter, 44, was required to prove probation officers in clean water with a urine sample. Hunter, who recently copped to possessing painkillers without a prescription and apparently knew her urine would prove to be dirty, so she attempted to use a prescription pill container filled with an unknown liquid to pass as urine analysis. Arrest affidavit noted. The scheme, which involved Hunter hiding the pill container inside herself, was detected by probation officers familiar with a container with whole synthetic urine sourced outline. After her rights were read, Hunter, however, admitted that the liquid in the plastic container was soda and tap water, a concoction which had surely resulted in a failed test. While court records do not identify soda involved, either Sprite or Mountain Dew would have seemed to be the likely bet. It is unclear why Hunter thought submitting urine samples containing no urine was a wise choice. During a court appearance, Hunter pleaded no contest to the misdemeanor charge of the urinalysis fraud, sentenced to a maximum of 20 days in their county jail. So now, was that a good idea? Alright, an ounce of protection is worth a pound of cure. Always true. Any job worth doing is worth doing well. It's something I always instill in everyone I know. Do the job well, so I ain't got to come back behind you and fix it. This has been Dad's life advice.
Put your hands together for Bubba's Corner. And here's your host.
Oh, hey there. You're expecting a movie review today, weren't you? No. Today we're going to be doing book. I want to explain to these two fine gentlemen, one of the most recent books series I've listened to called Septimus Heap, and there are 7 books.
So throwing us a curveball there.
So yeah, it's a 7-book series. That's an easy read. It's technically
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Are they like the, I don't know, like the
Stephen
under
King
100-page
or
style
They're
books?
pretty long, but they're easy to read because they're meant for children.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's a children's book. I feel stupid saying that, but the book is good.
Well, does it got like a youth rating on it or something?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the
Well,
main
nothing wrong with
character is
that.
10.
Hey, at least you know it's going to be clean, or you hope at least it's going to be clean.
So I'm just going to explain a little bit about the books. I'm actually not going to go into major detail like I normally do.
Okay.
So I am urging you listeners to go and give these books a listen. They're really awesome. So the first one is called Magic. My memory's a little fuzzy on it, but it's been so long since I've read this one because we actually have this one.
Okay.
The rest of them I listened to on Audible.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
it explains the intro to the book, the world, build the world, which.
Oh, okay. It tells you the lore and everything. It gets you like the intros to everything.
And funnily enough, if you get the hardcover version of the book and you look on it, it shows you a map of the castle.
Oh, that's nice.
And gives you like areas that will be explained in the book.
So you can really get a good idea of
the world doesn't technically have a name, not that I'm aware of. I don't even know what nation they have that it's in. All I know is that they call the city, they call it the castle.
Okay.
And then there's the Marum Marshes, which is, I think, north of it. It explains about a child named Septimus. He is the seventh son of the seventh son of the seventh son. And the entire first book explains how Septimus went from being this numbered kid in the child army to finding out he was actually kidnapped at birth, put into the army. There was a big fiasco. Turns out he isn't who he thinks he is. He's actually a very powerful wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the entire first book is about how he learns he is Septimus Heap. Then there's book 2, which is Flight. This one's a little interesting because there is a little mini book between book 1 and book 2. There's book 1.5. I haven't read it. It skips. There's some stuff that happened that I don't know. But the second book is about Septimus he works as a mage. He's learned magic. He's learned how to harness it. He is the apprentice of the extraordinary wizard who is Marcia Overstrand. I think it's either in the first book, maybe. The queen of the castle, Queen Sirius, gets killed, and so does the other extraordinary wizard.
Okay.
And so it's like a whole new generation.
Oh, okay. They're playing off. The new generation's got trying to learn from the old generation stuff as they go through things.
Yes.
Okay, I get that.
They learn about it, and it's really cool. But the second book, somehow, I'm gonna assume it's during book 1.5. One of Septimus's 6 brothers, and a sister, I guess starts working for a bad, is very angry with Septimus because Septimus is the apprentice, and he wanted to be the apprentice.
Okay, so you got like a brother rival thing right off the bat right there.
But like hardcore, to the point where the other brother, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'd have to like
the one's gonna take it.
He's the
far.
oldest brother. Yeah. He wants to kill Septimus because he doesn't think that Septimus is actually his brother. He's just some kid that got put into the family, and now he's the big hype, and he's pissed about it. He learns how to do dark magic through a bad named Dom Daniel. He tries to learn how to fly. Instead of that, Septimus gets a charm called the Flight Charm, and all he has to do is hold it, and he learns how to fly. I believe it's also during Flight that Septimus goes through a bunch of shenanigans with Jen, his sister. I don't remember which book, but she finds out she's the princess, and they're all living inside of... It's probably during 1.5, I'm not gonna lie. Jen is the princess of the castle. So they all move to the palace, and that's where they're living. Except for Septimus, he lives inside Extraordinary Wizard Tower, or just the Wizard Tower is what they call it, since he's the apprentice. At some point, some of his other brothers go and move into the forest. So it's just him, his brother Nico, his sister Jen, and then the other one went to go and train in dark magic. In Flight, they fight, and somehow Septimus gets a dragon. He's able to tell it what to do because it hatched to him through world-building magic. He ends up being able to control this dragon because he has a dragon ring that's like really overpowered. It was invented by the very first wizard. And yeah, all around, good book. My favorite book, though, is the third one called Physic. Marcia steals Septimus's flight charm from him in the beginning. I don't know why. She hides it and then puts it inside of an urn and locks it away in a vault.
And
underneath.
Who is this that steals it?
It's Marcia.
And who's that?
She's she's the extraordinary wizard.
Okay.
Why do I have such a hard time saying that? Yeah, she's
wizard?
the one who's teaching Septimus, and he got the charm. I can't quite recall how, but he got the charm and was using it hardcore. Mm-hmm. He was relying on it, and she was like, "You've got other things you have to come and learn besides flying around the castle." So she took it from him.
So he got grounded, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And she does this kind of thing quite often. Throughout these books, we learn that Marcia is a very snooty person. She's kind of rude, expects everything to be done for her, or, well, thinks she's the best at everything. In Physic, though, Septimus wants to learn how to do alchemy and physic, and she calls it rubbish. She thinks alchemy is an abomination and says don't ever think about it again. And being a child still, he's like, fine, if you're not going to tell me, I'm going to do it anyway.
Now, when you say alchemy, are we talking like alchemy, like botanical alchemy?
We're talking like
Are we
transmuting
talking about-
elements.
Okay, transmutation alchemy.
Not like Full Metal Alchemist though. Like they still have to like do like mixtures, tinctures, stuff like that.
It's still the laws of equivalent exchange, though.
I believe so. It doesn't really go into that much detail.
That's more so what I was wondering.
But in physics, Septimus finds this mirror in his sister Jen's queen's room or whatever. They go in there, and he gets abducted through a mirror by some really old dude, and he gets dragged I think it was 15,000 years to the past. So him and Jen get yoinked. A bunch of shit happens. While Septimus is in the past, he learns how to do alchemy. He becomes the apprentice alchemist. I should remember that the old guy's name, but I can't.
Oh, did they say it quite a few different times?
Yes, he's one of the main characters.
Okay.
He trains Septimus how to do physic and alchemy.
And what is physic? Because you said it, but you haven't really touched on what it actually is.
Doctor stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like medicinal type of magic?
Yeah. No, it's not even magic. It's
just like
potions
learning
and stuff.
medicines and
Yeah,
potions.
medicines
Okay.
and potions. He teaches him how to do that in alchemy. Septimus ends up coming back to the future through this thing called the House of Foryx. His brother Nico comes and saves him, and I'm gonna leave the rest to the listeners to go and listen to or read for themselves, because this book is great.
The whole series sounds like it.
The fourth book is called Quest. Septimus is pulled onto a quest that is like ancient rituals or like an ancient thing for the wizard tower. However, every apprentice who gets sent on the quest, and it's the quest, they call it the quest.
Oh,
every
it's something
apprentice
they've
that
never
is
been to finish then, or tackle for.
no apprentice has come back alive from the quest.
Okay.
Septimus gets sent on it. He doesn't quite know that.
Coincidentally omitted that detail.
No, it kind of happens all in once you get to a certain point in the story, all the stuff that happened starts linking together, and you're like, oh shit.
Okay.
The wizard tower gets put under siege by an evil ghost. Septimus escapes because the ghost wanted him to go on the quest, and Septimus is like, no, fuck you, I'm not going on the quest. Marcy's like, fuck you, no, he's not going on the quest. So he escapes, but before he escapes, one of the other wizards gives him a charm and says, here, use this protection charm, and then he leaves. He goes on a quest. He has to go save his brother Nico from the House of Foryx, because the only way that in book 3 that Septimus was able to get out of the past was his brother taking him through the House of Foryx, which means he got left behind. So him and a different character, her name's Snorri Snorrelson, they get left behind. So Septimus is going back to go save. At some point throughout the entire book, it links to the point, it goes to the thing where he finds out that the charm he was given wasn't a charm. It was the quest stone, and he was going on the quest even though he didn't know it. So he goes on this quest, he saves his brother, and it turns out that was the quest. The whole point of the quest was to find the first extraordinary wizard, who was still alive. I'll leave the rest for the listeners. Book 6 is dark. It's a little weird. It's kind of at the point where Septimus is like, the writer herself, Angie Sage, has kind of made it seem to the point where it's like, okay, this is a weird age for Septimus, so things are going weird, and Marcia has to send Septimus on this thing called the Dark Week, where every extraordinary wizard's apprentice has to go for 1 week to train with dark magic, because every extraordinary wizard needs to understand all types of magic.
Okay.
So Septimus has to go on this dark week, and he does so. I completely skipped a book, but I'll go back. He does so to go save a ghost called Arthur Meller. He's the extraordinary wizard that got killed with the queen in the first book. Marcia accidentally banished him to the dark realm or some shit, and so Septimus goes to go save him. That's literally all that book is about. I'll leave the rest to the listeners. Book 5 is the one I passed up, which is Siren. They introduce like a little piratey theme with this one. Because
Pirate? Like yo ho ho and
Yes.
a bottle of rum?
Yes, because literally the siren is that kind of siren.
Oh, so basically the whole book's like kind of a siren song.
Yeah, except the siren, kind of a ghost apparition type of creature, and it's possessing one of the old extraordinary wizard apprentices. And has held that extraordinary wizard apprentice like kind of hostage in her own body. So the siren is old as hell. Septimus gets crashed onto this island. We find out that there's another type of weird machinery. Instead of just boats and dragon, they also have clocks and submarines somehow.
Okay, they got some of that Skyrim dwarf magic.
Yeah, so there's siren is about Septimus going on another weird quest. That's what they're all about. I don't know, that book was interesting. Septimus finds himself a crush.
Crush?
A crush. Yep.
Crush.
And then book 7 is Fire. It's the final book. And it leads up to kind of a grand spectacle. Fuck you-ishness. To Marcia, at least.
But it gets wrapped up in that one.
There's a book 7.5 that I haven't read, but yes, for the most part. Actually, no. No, it doesn't. Because there's another series.
They left it open. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them for doing it.
But book 7, The Alchemist, actually lived, by the way. Septimus had to give him something to make a potion to where he can live forever. Or live longer. So this old dude is actually young again. Septimus changed the future. The Alchemist is alive and well and talks to Marcia. Marcia hates him. And Fire is entirely about this guy. He's starting up the alchemy chamber again. Starts this huge fireball cauldron. And the reason Marcia hates alchemists and alchemy is because there was something in the castle called the Great Alchemy Disaster, and it burned the entire castle. It caused a huge fire, and a lot of people died. So Marcia hates that.
She just doesn't want another repeat.
Yes, but the alchemist himself is like, it shouldn't have happened. Something went wrong. I assure you, something went wrong. Let me try again. So behind her back, he does. He starts up the fireball cauldron. Weird shit starts happening around town. It's the middle of winter, but there's puddles all over the place. He keeps disappearing for random times. Septimus finishes his apprenticeship with him. Kind of just like, doesn't become an alchemist.
Just took the knowledge and said, alright, I'm done.
Yeah, and so the older brother becomes the new alchemist apprentice.
So in a sense, he got what he wanted, I guess.
He became a good guy. You'll have to read the books for yourself. I left that fact out, but he became a good guy. Kind of. But yeah, it's a good book. The alchemist kind of has to prove himself throughout this entire book. And he does so in a very sneaky way, but it does work out in his benefit. And that's the last of it. But yeah, I do recommend you all to give that book a listen or give a few of the books a read. They're really interesting. I omitted a lot of facts because I do truly think this book is better on first read or listen. It's
definitely
truly something that it's interesting. It's a different view of magic. It's not like a Harry Potter view of magic. It's like magic takes time. You have to think and will things and summon things and energies and stuff like that. It's interesting. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I'll give the book a 10 out of 10. We'll continue on from there.
Alrighty, that's been Bubba's Corner.
Welcome to the DTZ Podcast Network. Now for today's lineup, to start us off is our favorite brothers, the Skemmings.
Last time on the Scammix, Peter and Bob had a bet that ended up putting Scammic Motors in jeopardy. They have an empty car lot, and now Bob and Peter are waiting on the salesman Humphrey to arrive now on the show.
Alright, Peter, Humphrey pulled into the lot. You can calm down some now.
We have no cars, Bob. We gotta fix this.
Here's Humphrey. Now we can straighten this out. Humphrey, Peter's concerned that we're totally out of cars for a couple of weeks. The trailer of cars we had out there was our next 2 week of cars to sell, and we're not able to get another trailer until then. That means our salesman can't come back to work until we get more cars.
Yeah, this is a big problem. I don't want to lose any good salesmen or go out of business. The competition is looking for us to close our doors.
Humphrey, do you have any ideas of what we can do here?
Oh man, I didn't want to cause any trouble. I'm sorry. I'll help. I do have an uncle that runs a car plant. I'll put a call into him and see what he can do.
Oh, that would be great. I'm about to lose my shit.
Humphrey, anything else you can do would be greatly appreciated.
While Humphrey is getting in contact with his uncle, Bob and Peter wait on the showroom.
So, Bob, how long do you think it's gonna take?
How the fuck do I know? I've been with you this whole time. I know as much as you do, dumbass.
Hey, no need to get nasty now, shithead. I'm worried about our sales guys and the business.
Me too, Pete. Me too. Look, here he comes.
Hey, Humphrey, what's the word?
Great news, guys. My uncle will put a trailer of cars to here for us tomorrow morning. But there's a catch. He wants a date for this Saturday night.
What the fuck? I'm now a pimp? What the?
Hey, Peter, wait. We know somebody.
We do? Who?
Cousin Cheryl.
Cheryl? The bleached blonde bimbo of a cousin of ours? Do you think he'll go for that?
Oh hell, Uncle's not picky. He's old and lonely. I'll tell him not to go.
No shit. Thank you, Humphrey.
You're welcome. I feel in a way it was my fault. I just wanted to help you guys out. So I'll see you at 2 in the morning.
Thanks, Humphrey. See you tomorrow in the morning.
But, Bob, now how do you suggest we get Cheryl to do this? I haven't talked to her in a year or so.
Well, I did run into Cheryl a month ago. I'll call Auntie and get the phone number.
Alright then, let's get going on this. Grab your shit and we'll get going.
Turn in next time to see where this shit show will go. Will it all blow up in Peter and Bob's face? Or if by an act of God will they pull it off? Till next time, folks, this has been the Scammix.
Do you want to know if you have a cheating spouse? Or do you just want someone followed? How about having that pesky jerk investigated for no good reason but your own selfishness? Or maybe you just want good old-fashioned revenge. Alright then. So you want Sneaky Pete's private eye agency. See, with Sneaky Pete, you get 30 plus years of experience. I'm telling you, Sneaky Pete is one badass MFer. There is no one better in the biz. Sneaky Pete's private eye agency is endorsed by the FBI and the CIA. Saying Sneaky Pete is one professional, highly qualified, trustworthy, and kick-ass private eye. So knowing all that, call Sneaky Pete's private eye agency now. And they'll get the fucking job done. Yeah!
Sneaky Pete's Private Eye Agency is an affiliate of Sloan Corp.
We're back. And up next is Kyle, Mr. Customer Service.
Let me introduce Kyle, a top-notch customer service agent. His no-nonsense approach and the ability to turn around the most difficult customer, leaving them satisfied in the end. That's why Kyle was recruited to work at Sloan Corp. And now today's adventure, Slow Day.
Hey, Suze. Make sure you fill out the DT3 form and turn it in this morning. Hold on. Thank you for calling Sloan Corp. Customer Service. I'm Kyle. How may I help? Okay, sir. Or may I call you Fred? Great, Fred. Well, as you may or may not know, your contract with Sloan Corp you signed, Article 4, Section 7 of the contract states all complaints will be dealt with in the expedient fashion, Fred. So, as Sloan Corp's contract states, I am informing you to shut the fuck up and do what Sloan Corp tells you. And if you do not comply with Protocol 13 will be activated. Oh, that's great. Outstanding, Fred. I'm glad to see we could resolve this so quickly for you. And thank you again for calling Sloan Corp's customer service. So, Suze, when you fill out the form, be sure to complete it in triplicate. Accounting is real sticklers for protocol. Hold on to that thought. Thank you for calling Sloan Court Customer Service. I'm Kyle. How may I help? I see, ma'am. That's not a customer service question, but allow me to transfer you to the proper department. Oh, you're welcome, ma'am. And thank you for calling Sloan Corp. Okay, Suze, I'm going on my morning break. See ya.
Okay, folks. This was Kyle, Mr. Customer Service in Slow Day. And be sure to tune in next time for another adventure.
This is a public service announcement from Sloan Corp.
When was the last time you called Grandpa or even stopped by to just say hi? It's been a while, hasn't it? Well, you're a jerk. Get your lazy ass up and go to Grandpa's. You know what? Pick up the old codger and take him to your local or your favorite strip club. That's right. You owe Grandpa a good look at some nice titties and some fine asses. But if you want in real good with Gramps, get him a top-notch lap dance. That should move you to the top of his well. So, join us this Monday for International Take Grandpa to a Strip Club Day. Be the one who puts a smile on Grandpa's face.
And now it's time for that critically acclaimed show, Planting More Than Flowers, fuckers. Planting more than flowers, fuckers.
Welcome back, fuckers. Today we're planning a special, or more like magical. That's right, it's magic mushrooms. Now, I like to call them shrooms, so that's what I'll be calling them. Alright, now, the first thing I did was send away for my shroom spores. I'll let you in on a little secret. My shroom source is from the ad in a pot mag. That's right. So you need to gather two things. You're going to need your bag of fertilizer and a rectangular flower pot. Now, folks, filling the pot with fertilizer. Go ahead and drop in the spores as far as you can go. After that, throw some water on it and then put the pot in a cool, dark place. In a few weeks, the shrooms should be... Hey, man. Whoa. What was that? Oh, yeah, the harvest! Man, the harvest was oh so awesome. I think I ate 5 caps, man, and maybe, I'm counting again. 8 stems, man. I'm telling you, the stem, you don't want to waste that. Eat the whole shroom. The whole shroom, man. The shroom. Did you hear that? Man, the colors sure are bright. Oh, what the shit? Oh, man.
Sorry, folks, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please tune in next week to Planting More Than Flowers, fuckers. Hi there, I'm Benton Thatcher, CEO of Sloan Corp, and I would like to take a moment to tell you a little bit about Sloan Corp. We do really good for you and your community. See, we are the largest maker of products that are used in everyday life, and we even bolster thousands in the service field. The chances of when you call to have something repaired or installed, the company is probably a subsidiary of the Sloan Corp. As well as we are the world leader in products being produced, there is no corporation in the world that can compete with us. Here at Sloan Corp, we even are at the top of the pharmaceutical manufacturing sector. There is very little Sloan Corp does not do. Our goal has been and always will be in excellence in everything Sloan Corp does. And remember, you can depend on us. Sloan Corp. That concludes the DTZ Podcast Network Comedy Block. Be sure to tune in next time. Thank you for listening to Coffee Bar Stories. This is your host, Dad.
This is Son.
And I'm Bubba. And don't forget to check us out at DTZentertainment.com.